Okay, so I already put up a spoiler thing, so if you guys haven't seen season 2 or you're not caught up yet, don't watch this. You've been warned. There will be spoilers, but for the rest of you, you guys stay around if you want. So, this is season 2 of The Flash. There's quite a lot to talk about, so let's start off with what's going on. So, this season pretty much takes place after the event of season 1. A few months later, after we find out that apparently the Flash did close up that giant portal. Yeah, I wouldn't want to see how that would happen either. But eventually we do find out what happened, as we do also learn that Barry has become more shut off after everything that's happened with the portal, because apparently Ronnie, one of the halves of Firestorm, apparently gave his life to stop it. Why? I don't even know how it really happened. Just he got stuck in the portal, so he must be dead, I guess. So yeah, pretty much he's gone. So now Barry's trying to get over that, as Caitlin has also become rather cold and shut off. But I guess they can relate to each other, so they're hanging out. But that's kind of his only friend from Star Labs that he's actually talking with and everything. Until they all just meet up with him and he needs their help, so they can stop Atom Smasher, who I will admit is pretty cool to finally see on any show on the CW, but I kinda do wish that he was a hero. Like, originally in the comics and everything, he is a hero, so why change that up and make him a villain? I guess I can see how this would be a good villain, but that's not his role. His role's always been to be a hero, except for here. I don't really get this. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I really don't see why he's a villain here. But anyway, he's a villain, so now they have to take him down, and Barry needs help from everyone else. They eventually do take him out, but at the end they do end up meeting someone else, Jay Garrick, who, oh yeah, we'll talk about him later. And apparently he informs them that this isn't going to be the last metahuman from another Earth that's going to be coming through these portals. There have been breaches to another Earth, Earth 2, and pretty much all sorts of villains are going to be sent through there to get the Flash's speed. So, or at least take the Flash, so then the guy who's leading it all can get his speed. So now Barry has to stand up against that, and the guy who is running the show with all the people from Earth 2 is apparently Zoom, who, yes, we shall also talk about later. But on the side, Barry also has a girlfriend now. As you can tell, I have so much excitement about this. Yay. So, and then, yeah, Barry has a girlfriend, Patty, who actually is kind of a cool character, and it is kind of nice to see someone without powers actually trying to stand up against the metahumans. Like, she freaking shot King Shark. That was awesome. But unfortunately, she leaves the show kind of early in this season, and frankly, I don't really get her motives. Like, okay, she comes here so then she can be a better officer. I get that. But then when she's getting better as an officer, she meets up with her father's killer. So she goes out to get revenge on him. Makes sense. But after she gets revenge, she stops and leaves the city's police station so that then she can become a better officer. So Patty goes off to become a better police officer, but here's my question. This was her plan all along. This is originally what she had in mind to do in Central City. So why did she get romantically involved with Barry? If she knew that she was just going to leave anyway. Really? What was the purpose in that? Like, that's just a really dick move there. And she looks at it like, oh, really? You should just be happy for me. And yeah, I mean, he takes it well, but still. That's a really harsh move there, Patty. You didn't need to do that. You really hurt him. Okay, I guess you're just gonna ignore that. But okay, so back on to what's going on this season. Yeah, I've already really talked about what Patty's doing this season, but pretty much another person to come through the breaches from Earth 2 is Harrison Wells, who here is not Eobor Thawne, whatever, I don't care. Can't pronounce the name right, I don't know why. Eobor Thawne is not, so he pretty much came to Earth 1, which is the Earth with Barry and everything, and he pretty much came there so he can help the Flash in taking down Zoom, because Zoom has taken his daughter, Jess Wells. That name really doesn't flow that well. Jess Wells. Yeah, it flows wonderfully there, Harrison. But pretty much this is actually a really good Harrison Wells, and I will talk about him later, but I really do like seeing him on the show. So pretty much he is now helping everyone out, but he receives some notice from Zoom, who is saying, okay, if you get me the Flash's speed, I'll let your daughter go. Why he waited for a while to fill him in on this, I don't know. Really, Harrison Wells have been involved with the Flash for quite a while now, and yet Zoom just waited for a while to tell him about this, because he wouldn't have taken up the offer earlier? I don't know. And pretty much now he is trying to steal the Flash's speed. He does it once and realizes, man, this was a stupid idea, so then he just decides to fill in the Flash on everything that's going on. At least he was honest. So pretty much they eventually go to Earth 2 to try and get his daughter back, where there things get a little bit more complicated when, for whatever reason, Barry infiltrates his doppelganger's life. I still really don't get why he did this. Like, all he really needed was a little bit of information, and really, Cisco's pretty good with a computer. I'm pretty sure he could have hacked into that for you there, Barry. No? The better idea was just steal your doppelganger's life, huh? Okay. And pretty much things go awry when Killer Frost comes. And I gotta say, it's pretty awesome to see Killer Frost. Oh, and Deathstorm's there too. I didn't really know that much about Deathstorm going in. Actually, I hadn't even heard of him before this episode. I looked into him a little bit more, and he's pretty cool, but yeah, I was more excited to see Killer Frost. So, we get to see Killer Frost in this episode, and apparently she is working with Zoom, along with her husband, boyfriend, maybe, really good friend, possibly, Ronnie Deathstorm. So, pretty much, she's also working with Reverb, who is another version of Cisco who has vibe powers. Oh, and also this whole entire season, Cisco has been getting the ability to use his vibe ability. Yeah, the character pretty much already had this power in season 1 that was starting to manifest. So it is pretty cool to actually see that come back. And I gotta say, it is kind of cool to see him start to become vibe. But pretty much he meets another version of himself that apparently has already mastered his powers. Good for him. And he's also become a criminal. Because why wouldn't he? So, pretty much, now Cisco has to face his biggest enemy, himself. yeah, this is pretty much taken care of really fast. Cause Zoom comes in and says, "Well, you guys weren't listening to my orders, so you two are dead. Killer Frost, you can walk free for a bit." But then Killer Frost, of course, kind of annoyed that Zoom killed her in some relationship form of Ronnie. So of course she is going to team up with everyone else, with Barry and everything. After the Earth 1 Barry is now kidnapped. Yeah, he's great. So pretty much he's kidnapped, and Killer Frost decides, okay, I'll help you guys out because I got a personal vendetta against Zoom right now. So, and pretty much she decides, okay, I'll help you guys up here so you guys can break him out and try and get your revenge and try to kill this guy. But they just sort of break Barry out. Killer Frost is kidnapped, and they meet a man in a metal mask, as well as saving Jess. So now Jess is taken back to Earth 1, and amazingly, she's not that comfortable with this. Yeah, I know, surprising, being taken to a completely different Earth. Yeah, amazingly, that doesn't really sit that well with her. But yeah, eventually she does get more used to it and just tries to find the best out of the situation. But when she first gets back, she's kind of a brat. I mean it, she's just kind of really annoying at this point. Like, she won't shut up about, oh no, I want to go back to Earth 2 because that's where we live, even though there's a killer coming after us. Can we please go back to Earth 2? I'm just like, okay, you know what? Shut up. Eventually she does get better though, and she does actually become a sort of a part of the TR Labs, and I will say that she's pretty welcome, and she is a pretty cool character after that. But I just kind of wish that at first, like upon meeting her, that she wasn't just a little bit of a brat the whole time. Like, she was held hostage by Zoom. You would think that if anyone were to understand the cost of staying on Earth 2, it would be her. But no, she doesn't want to stay on Earth 1 because she's experienced what Zoom can do firsthand. I really don't get her reasoning here. But anyway, she does eventually adapt to, okay, I'm gonna be stuck on Earth 1 for a little bit, so might as well just run away from home. Yeah, a real genius. And pretty much eventually she's fine because she finds a roommate, I guess. But pretty much now back on everything else with all the other characters. Well, Hawk Girl is on the show. They fight Vandal Savage with her and Hawkman. Pretty much it for that. And pretty much eventually they do something else happens with Iris. Yeah, you didn't think I would be talking about her because nothing important happened with her. But pretty much she finds out that her mom comes back because she's sick and dying. So she wants sympathy for leaving them behind for years. Yeah, I'm sure they'll be really open arms for that. But surprisingly, they don't take her that well. And pretty much she ends up dying and they don't really feel anything about it. But it turns out that she has a son who does care about it, Wally West. Gotta say, pretty awesome to see Wally West finally come in. I mean, I really did want to see Wally West come in at one point, and it is pretty cool to finally see him enter the show. And there might even be a bit of him and Jess getting powers with the Speed Force. Fortunately, this goes nowhere this season, but I'm hoping for the next season. So, pretty much Wally West comes in and decides, well, my mom's dead, might as well make a family with Joe because I want to. So now him and Joe are getting closer. Barry's cool with it. Good for him. And Iris is concerned about his drag racing problem. Oh, the horror. Yeah, you just deal with metahumans all the time, but he drag races. That's where the real danger's at. Yeah, eventually she gets over this. It only really takes one episode, so yay. And pretty much, yeah, the rest of the season they're still fighting Zoom. Something drastic does happen though when Zoom kidnaps Wally West and Barry has to give up his speed to save him. But what I don't get is that they were given Wally West first. Why did Barry give up his speed? Like, oh, yeah, you gave us what we wanted. Here's my speed. Like, what made them decide to do that? I really don't get that. Like, they had a deal, I guess, so is that it? He just wants to stand by the honor system because somebody had to? I mean, what? A lot of people can get hurt here, Barry. And not surprisingly, people get hurt due to this decision. So Barry immediately decides, okay, I'm gonna go and get my speed back by recreating the accident that happened to get me my speed in the first place. But that is after he gets some very important information. His dad's main name was Garrick. Dun dun dun. Excitement. But what I really don't get about this is that why did the guy change their last name? Isn't it usually the other way around? Like, if a person in a relationship is going to change their last name, usually it's the girl or the wife that changes their last name, not the guy. But I guess him and his wife want to change things up. So, pretty much, yeah. This comes as a big shock to Barry for a little bit. Oh, and also in between episodes, yeah, I forgot to bring this up, but I just now remembered. It turns out that Jay Garrick was Zoom. Told you there were gonna be spoilers. Jay Garrick is Zoom. And he kills himself, but it's fine because he made a time remnant. And honestly, I really don't get how time remnants work. Does that mean like he went back in time 1 second before he died or something? I really don't get how this would work. Unless if he did that, because that's kind of the only point where he wouldn't really need to exist for his future self. But yeah, you know what? Time travel is nuts, and I'm just going to agree with how Wally reacted to it. So pretty much, yeah, we find out that he was apparently Zoom, and also his real name wasn't even Jay Garrick, the lying bastard. It apparently was Hunter Zolomon. Ooh. So, yeah, it turns out that he was Hunter Zolomon all along. Amazing information. So, pretty much, Barry gets his speed back eventually after talking with the Speed Force for a bit. And the Speed Force, for some odd reason, had a very, very big determination to try and help Barry get over his dead mom. Why? Why did they have this determination? What was the point? I really don't get it. What was the point in that? Like, why did they really want him to get over his mother's death? It's the Speed Force. Wouldn't it want him to be more responsible with it or something? But no, apparently the Speed Force really cares about his personal issues about his mother's death, which he had kind of forgotten about for a while. I don't know. But pretty much they really care for some reason, and yeah, he comes back happy about that because he finally got some closure. Yay! I guess that's what they wanted. I don't know. And pretty much now Barry has the worst possible thing. A positive attitude. I know. The horror. He has a positive attitude. Really, they treat this as like a terrible thing on the show. Like, oh no, he's in a good mood. He can't be in a good mood, guys. Like, really, I really don't get why they need like 4 people to confront him about this. Oh no, he's in a positive mood today. How awful? I don't know. Like, why did they care? Why do they care about that? But apparently they really do, because they think they've got to get over cocky? No. Okay, but in the same episode we get the return of Laurel Lance. Yep, she died on Arrow. Yeah, spoilers for Arrow too. But now she has to come back as a meta-human with her stupid little canary cry that never looks good on camera to me. God, I hate you, Laurel Lance. You know what? I hate you. I just freaking hate you, Laurel Lance. Die all over again. Just die.
You know, the sad thing is, I think Zoom's actually afraid of you. I didn't think that he feared anything. And you're hardly worth the chills. How many metas did he send to try and kill you? Well, it's too bad. He should have just sent me, because that way you would have already been.
I could watch that all day. But anyway, yeah, Laurel comes back and gets hit by a car, so that's my new favorite scene on The Flash. But pretty much, now, yeah, they take down Laurel, because that was a really big issue, I guess. And in the end of the episode, everyone sort of gains a bit of confidence. That is until Harry Allen is taken. Zoom takes him and kills him. And I will say this is actually a pretty dramatic turn for the final episode, and it is handled with a lot of seriousness. And to me, it was actually handled a bit better than how it was on The Flash Season 1. Where there, he does take the fact that knowing Eobard Thawne killed his mother pretty personally, but to me, it never really seemed like it clouded his judgment like I thought it would have. Here, it's doing that much more. He's taking it much more personally, and I guess that you could make the argument, though, that in Season 1 he had time to get over it and try and grieve with it. But then why does he still have issues with it? To me, it just never made any sense as to why he was able to just be cool with that. Here, this season, it made it up with that. Now he is taking it very personally, and he does really have a grudge against Zoom, and he even wants to kill him. And to me, this is a really interesting twist on how they would have played this, and I really do like how well it's acted and everything. And I even like the bit where they lock him in a cell, because they really do think that he's gone that far with this. And I really do like him and Joe's confrontation with each other about this. So yeah, I just really do enjoy this moment where he does feel more personally angered towards everything that's happening with this. So then what else happens? They lock him in a cell and have a plan to take down Zoom on their own. And amazingly, it works out pretty well, if not for Joe getting sucked into the portal with them. I'm actually really surprised that worked out pretty well. But pretty much, yeah, Joe is now sucked into the portal. Wally breaks out Barry from his cell because he wasn't brought into the conversation about stopping Zoom. And Zoom and Barry race. How engaging. And they say, "Run, Barry, run" again. Yay! We haven't heard that on the show. Seriously, I agree with Awesome Comics here. I really do want to just hear him turn around one time and just say, "Yeah, no kidding, I'm gonna run. What do you think I'm gonna do? I'm the Flash." I mean, really, yeah. Awesome Comics brought that up, and that was freaking hilarious. I would love to see them actually do that at one point. But pretty much Barry creates his own time remnant to race the Flash because he doesn't want to, I guess. And he releases Joe. And then tries to beat up Zoom while his time remnant is kind of an idiot, I guess, and continues running in the machine that will destroy all other Earths except for Earth 1. Yeah, this will go great. But eventually the time remnant realizes, oh yeah, I'm not chasing anyone anymore, am I? So he decides to reverse the pulse of the whole entire machine and eventually does stop it, creating the Crisis on Infinite Earth storyline on how he died, in which I'm actually surprised that they did wrap into this, and I do think it is kind of cool. Although, does that mean that that future article was from this episode? Because I don't really see how this would really tie into that much of a future event. Unless if it happens again later? Will Crisis on Infinite Earths actually happen in one season? I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it, I don't know. But pretty much, Barry goes home still feeling hollowed out because his dad died. But even though he has a talk with Iris, who now wants to get into a relationship with him because why not, then he still decides, well, that would be nice. But my dad's still dead, so I gotta go work through this. I gotta run through this for a little bit. And then Iris goes back into the house, and we get the Flashpoint Paradox storyline where Barry is now going back in time to save his mother. And I gotta admit, to me, it was done a bit better here than it was in Flashpoint Paradox. Because here, it has more of an explanation to it. He lost his dad, and he really just wanted another win. He lost a lot, so he really just wanted to get a little bit more of a victory for himself. And one of the ways he thought to do this would be by saving his mother. Granted, I don't see why he would save his mother instead of his father, because that one wouldn't actually destroy a timeline, but he decided to save his mom instead, because then why not? So then that will probably lead us to a whole entire season, or maybe half a season, of Flashpoint Paradox, and I honestly cannot wait to see that, because that would be pretty cool. But pretty much to me, in the movie of Flashpoint Paradox, it was kind of rushed as to why he actually goes back in time to save his mom. It's just, he was looking at his grave one day, and just decided, well, it's been a while since she was alive, I want to go see her again, so he saves her. Amazing reasoning there. And pretty much the way this does affect stuff in the time, I do like how it works. And so, but seeing as like half of the characters from Flashpoint Paradox aren't actually on the show, yeah, I kind of wonder how they're gonna play this out. But I don't know. I guess it could go any way. Maybe Gotham will even cross into it. I don't know. That would actually be awesome. I would honestly love to see that. But pretty much, that is what's going on all this season. And May and I have talked about this for a while, but hey, you know what? I still gotta sum up what I thought about this season. So, pretty much I'm gonna start off with some of the minor things. We got the Rogues coming in, so that was pretty cool to see. I did like seeing them enter. We got Golden Glider. They finally named her, and I do think that it is pretty cool. By far, one of my favorite villains on the show has been Captain Cold, and I did like seeing him return onto the show this season. And now he's gone on to his own show, so yeah, he's dead there now, so don't really know how to think about that. But hey, you know what? It was still pretty cool to see him in this season too, so yeah, we at least got a little bit more of him. And also we got some more things going on with Dr. Light, Now, she entered the show, and for some reason they changed her gender. Yeah, why is this a thing with superhero shows right now? They want to change the gender of some of their villains. Like, with Firefly on Gotham, they changed his gender to a girl. Why? I don't know. Now, with Dr. Light, I really don't get this. What's the point in this? But anyway, they changed around the gender, but I did actually like seeing her because she was actually one of the characters on the show who wasn't originally a villain with their powers. I know, amazing, right? A metahuman that's not a speedster or Barry who actually uses their powers for good. Shocking. I mean, really, all that we've had this whole entire series is showing villains that get superpowers and decide, hey, let's just become villains. I mean, really, that got kind of annoying. Did none of them actually decide to become good guys? Apparently not, except for Barry and Dr. Light. And I gotta say, I was actually kind of pleased to see that. Another villain who has entered the show is Gorilla Grodd. And I honestly love seeing Grodd. Grodd is probably one of my favorite Flash villains, and to actually see him be brought onto the show is great. Although I do really wish that they made his intellect a bit higher, because originally in every other version of him that I've seen, he's incredibly intelligent. Like, you don't want to get into a fight with him because he could be 5 steps ahead, and you won't even notice. So, that's something that I've always really liked about him. And here, he's able to form a few sentences. Okay. At least he went to Gorilla City, so there is a chance that that's where he's gonna learn more and become more intelligent. So I can't wait to see where they go with that, and I really do want to see Gorilla Grodd re-enter the show. Now we also got to see Killer Frost on this show, and she's fine. I honestly did really enjoy seeing her, but my main problem with everything they did with her is that they kill her off in her 3rd appearance. Great move there, guys. Awesome move. I mean, really, just a great idea. Kill off Killer Frost. I'm so enthusiastic that you did that. I was honestly kind of hoping that she would go to Earth 1 and become one of the common villains, but nope, I guess that would just make too much sense. So, yeah, I wasn't really happy about them killing her off. But outside that, they did her pretty well. Then we also got Cisco starting to use his powers as Vibe, and I'm honestly really interested in how this is going to play out, because I don't really know that much about the character Vibe. Like, I know his basic powers and everything, but outside that, I don't really know that much about him. So, to me, I frankly do want to see where they go with this, and I do like Cisco's character on the show, so I think there is possibility here. So I can't wait to see what they actually do with this. And then we got Patty. I already talked about her, so moving on. She's an alright character, but I guess I will talk about her a little bit more. She's an alright character, and I did like seeing her, so yeah, I at least did think that she was a good character, and her interactions with Barry are pretty good, and I do enjoy them, so I can definitely say I found her fine. I do wish that she was in the series a bit more, because I actually do really enjoy her, and I would like to see her more. And then we got Wally West. I gotta say, pretty cool to see Wally West finally enter the show. Now, when he starts off on the show, I wasn't really that into him, but as he went on, I think they got more interesting, and I did like seeing him more, I did like following him more, so I'm kind of interested in what they're gonna do with him. He hasn't gotten his powers quite yet, but him and Jess were hit with the Speed Force, so there's a chance that they will get their powers at one point and become Jessica Quick and Wally West, also known as Kid Flash. Although I don't really see Wally West really picking the name Kid Flash for himself. Yeah, am I the only one who doesn't really see that? I mean, if we take a look at this Wally West, does he ever look like he's gonna try and pick the name Kid Flash if he gets his powers? Like, I guess, like, he would want to choose a name with maybe Flash in it, seeing as he's a fan of the Flash, but yeah, I never see him choosing the name Kid Flash. But, along the line of speedsters, we also have the very first girl speedster on the show, Trajectory, and I didn't really like her that much. Her powers weren't created genetically, they were created through Velocity 9, which is a speed drug that Jay Garrick had to use, or well, Hunter Zollivan had to use, so then he could increase his speed, but it ends up killing the person who uses it, even if they do have speed powers. And she didn't originally have speed powers at all, so really it's just killing her the more she uses it. And I didn't really like her that much. Her character never really got that interesting to me, and I personally was just kind of waiting for her to get better, and then she died. So, yeah, I didn't really like her that much. But along the lines of another girl speedster, we have gotten nods to Jessica Quick. Now, this would be Jess's character, Jess Wells, and pretty much, and she got hit with the Speed Force along with Wally West. I've already talked about what I thought about her, but yeah, I honestly am kind of excited to see what they do with this. There's a lot of possibility with her, so yeah, just kind of want to see what they do with her. So that's pretty much it for her. And now let's move on to another important character, Caitlin. She gets kidnapped a lot this season. Yeah, I mean, like, a lot. She constantly gets kidnapped this season, and I really don't get why. Like, first she's kidnapped by Grodd, then she's kidnapped by Zoom. And I really don't get why she's kidnapped so much. Her story arc of Zoom is alright, I guess. I never really found it that intriguing, but I guess she's happy for a time until he turns out to be evil. So, yeah. Pretty much all I gotta say on her. That was a fast sum up. She's alright this season. I still like Caitlin Snow. She's a good character, so no real complaints, I guess. We also got Harry Wells ending up being the real Jay Garrick from Earth 3 at the end, and it turns out that he was the guy in the metal mask. I really thought it was going to be Steel. I mean, I really thought that was going to be Steel. Like, the whole entire time, they're just like, oh yeah, you wouldn't believe who this is. I'm like, is it going to be Steel? It's going to be Steel, isn't it? And then, nope, it's just Jay Garrick. Yay. And I guess he's fine. You haven't really seen that much of him. For some odd reason, he's from Earth 3 here, though. I don't really get that. Why is he from Earth 3 here? He's originally from Earth 2, so I don't really get where that came from. But outside that, he at least got the look down. I think that the actor who plays Zoom on this show, though, looked more like Jay Garrick to me. I mean, like, when I first saw him come in as Jay Garrick, I was just like, yep, that's Jay Garrick. He looks exactly like him. But I guess Harry plays him pretty well, too, so we'll just have to wait and see with him. So that's pretty much it for those characters. Now let's move on to some more main ones. Joe is still a good character this season. Not really that much else to say about him. Tries to get a relationship with Wally and prevails. Hurrah. Yeah, not really that much to say about him this season. Harrison Wells comes back, and I gotta say, I really do like this Harrison Wells. He has more character in him than what he was the first season, where there kind of felt like Gills from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, so until he turned out to be evil, so it was alright. But here, I think that they did put more of a character into him, made him more sarcastic, and I did really enjoy that. He had more of a negative perspective on everything that was going on, and sometimes he didn't my criticism work for me. Like, I was trying to think of a good criticism bit, and then, like, all of a sudden he just said it, I'm just like, I was just thinking that. How would you do that? So, yeah, I really did enjoy him this season. I've heard that he will be coming back for season 3, so yeah, he left to Earth 2 with his daughter, wondering what's gonna happen here. Maybe he comes back because Jess, you know, gets the Speed Force abilities, I don't know. So, yeah, he's a good character. I guess we should talk about Jess now. Again, she's alright. I think that more that we saw her, though, she became better. And I kind of do want to see where they go with her from here, because she has a character starting to be formed. I just think that there needs to be a bit more. She had a thing with Wally for some reason. Yeah, they seem to be starting up a thing with her and Wally. I don't really get why they're doing that. Was that ever a thing that needed to happen? I don't know. But apparently they think it does, so yeah, I hope it works out for those crazy kids, I don't know. And yeah, she's a fine character, so now let's get on to Iris. She's okay. I mean, I don't like her as much as I did last season, because there I had more of a character developed, and this season half of that was kind of dropped, and she's just sort of like a cheerleader for Barry and everything. So yeah, she still does have her moments where she's likable still, and I don't hate her unlike some other characters. Laurel, I will talk about her later. But pretty much, yeah, I think that she's fine. I don't hate Iris. I can see her sort of becoming an annoyance, but I found other characters on other shows that I hate more. Sky, I will talk about her later too. But pretty much, yeah, I think that she's alright. I find more characters that annoy me more. Sky and Laurel, I hate them both so much. Why do I do? Alright, but pretty much, yeah, I think that she's alright. Now let's actually talk about Black Siren. Yeah, I hate Laurel Lance. I mean it. I hate Laurel Lance. I really, really hate this character. She always just felt so selfish to me. Like, every time we saw her on Arrow, even when Oliver was going through something, she was just like, yeah, no, let's tie this back into me, alright? My sister is still dead, or my mother's still gone, or my dad is getting back into alcoholism maybe, or he did that at one point and he took one drink today, so I think that he's going back into it. I'm an alcoholic now, or something like that. Every time she was on screen, I just hated her. Every time. And then in season 4, to me, it redeemed itself. Everything in season 4 I forgave for the fact that they killed her. I was so thankful for that. And then she comes back on Flash. Oh, God. Why won't she just die? I know I'm getting really worked up about this, but I really hate this character. Her and Sky. I hate both of them. And you know what? I'll talk about Sky next week, because next week I'm going to talk about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but you know what? I'll talk about her later, so I'll save her. She's in a little file. But right now, I'm talking about Laurel. And I hate Laurel. I really hate her. And I really wish that she had died in this episode where she comes in. Really. Why won't you just let her die? Let someone else pick up the torch of Black Canary. I don't care. Really, I wouldn't hate Black Canary if she was actually played by a likable character. I liked it when Sarah played her, but no, I hated her when she was played by Laurel because I hate Laurel. And if Laurel was actually written well, then I would like her more, but I really don't like her. She just seems so annoying, so pretentious, and so obnoxious to me. I just really hate her. Every time she's on screen, I want to hit her somehow. I'm sure the actress is trying her best, and I'll give her credit, the actress is fine. I just think that she's just pretty annoying to me. So, yeah. There was my rant on Laurel Lance. If you couldn't tell yet, I hate her. Seriously, that bit with her getting hit by the car. The best scene on The Flash.
You would have already been. You would have already been. You would have already been.
Yes, I love it. Hit her more, hit her more. Sorry, I really do hate her. But pretty much, yeah, I think that you get the gist. I do not particularly care for Laurel Lance. So, yeah. Then we got Barry this season, and I honestly think that the actor stepped it up more here. He became more of an interesting character, where last season I just sort of saw him as this pretty positive character, which I liked, I guess, compared to Arrow. I guess he had more of an upbeat personality, and that made him more intriguing to me, I guess, in some way, but to me it did kind of wear thin a little bit, like, okay, yeah, everything's gonna go right for you, you're in a more peppy show, I get it. But here they do treat it more serious, they do treat it more seriously, they do take more care to this character, and I think that it was done better here, so they do give him more story arc and more character development, so I like him more here. Then it comes down to our last character to talk about, Zoom. What do I think about Zoom? His moves are kind of weird. I mean, really, his moves are pretty much just, I'm a villain. I saw my mother be killed in front of me, and yeah, I guess no one gave him therapy. Like, really, a few years of therapy, I think that he would have been alright. Or at least had gone a less psychotic thing going on with him, but nope, apparently no one decided to give him any bit of therapy or anything. They just threw him into a terrible home. Because that will cure him. So, yeah, pretty much he became a criminal and a mass murderer because his mother died in front of him. Grow up, Zoom. Really, it's a sad event, but that doesn't mean you have to go around killing others. And pretty much that is his whole entire reasoning for doing everything. It's just, my mother died! And while I guess that is a sad backstory, and it does make more sense when you look at it and think about it a little bit, it just really feels like they could just helped him out with a little bit of therapy over the years. And his whole entire big plan was to make the Flash more like him by killing his dad in front of him and then yelling, now you're like me, haha, bye! Like, really, what? Like, killing his dad in front of him is gonna make him just like you? I really don't get that. How would that work? I honestly just found this plan completely preposterous, but anyway, apparently he thinks it's a good idea, so I don't know what I'm complaining about. Also, his other plan is to use this giant machine which he made, because I guess all psychotic killers have a scientific background. He pretty much decides, well, okay, time to destroy all other Earths except for Earth 1, because that one's apparently at the center of the multiverse. And I guess it would be a good idea to destroy all these other ones, and I'll leave my trophies that I have on Earth 2 on Earth 2, so then they can just be destroyed, because I made a big deal about collecting trophies. wow, I'm an idiot. And also, he wants to conquer Earth by destroying them? How is that going to work? Can someone explain that? He says that he's going to count his victories by how many Earths he conquers, but he's going to conquer them by wiping everyone else out? I really don't get this. Anyway, apparently he again thinks it's a good idea that can't go wrong. So, yeah, again, what am I complaining about? And while I do think that this villain is kind of intimidating, especially when you first see him, and his voice and design does make him appear more threatening, I just couldn't really get behind him as more of a personal villain. Now, granted, when he does kill Barry's dad, that's when I got more interested in what he was going to do, because, well, he killed Barry's dad. He also killed his own workers for not listening to him. So, to me, that made him more of an intimidating villain, as you don't really know what would set him off. But outside of that, I never really found him that intriguing. And I found his whole entire reasoning for doing anything kind of silly. But at least he thought it all made sense. So I guess I'm just the idiot here. And yeah, that's pretty much it for season 2 of The Flash. I thought it was a pretty good season. I can't really tell if I like it more than season 1. I think I like them both equally. But this season did bring back Laurel Lance, so it has 2 points taken away from it on that. But outside of that, I think it was okay. They did expand on some of the stuff that they brought up in season 1, so I do think that was pretty cool. And there were some nice comebacks, and there are some nice things from the comics taken and put into here. So yeah, I liked this season. It was pretty good. And next week, on my continuation of talking about superhero shows on here, we will be talking about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Bye.